Good morning and welcome back to Universal Studios Hollywood. Today we have a big update in store for you guys, a big Horror Nights update, as today we received 2 haunted house announcements, and we'll talk a lot more about that once we go inside of the theme park. Let's go ahead and head inside. It's like a pretty busy start to the morning, lots of people showing up, which is surprising. It's only 10 a.m. Usually everyone tends to show up a little later, 11, 12 maybe. But today we, in fact, have a very busy start to the morning, which is nice to see. Dang, look at the lines for the gates. Oh boy, I hope this isn't a problem entering the park. This is truly the shortest line I found to enter. But this is like Horror Nights weather. This is what Horror Nights crowds look like. Maybe a little bit longer than this, but it's giving HHN. Okay, so our first stop today is going to be the studio tour. We're going to skip the coaster for now. We'll talk about it later. We're going to jump straight into Horror Nights because we have a huge Horror Nights update. Like I said, 2 announcements today. They announced the Terror Tram, and the theme of the Terror Tram is going to be Enter the Blumhouse with Megan, Freaky, Happy Death Day, The Purge, Megan. Did I already say Megan? And then our last haunted house announcement is the Weeknd Nightmare Trilogy, and we'll get into more detail very soon. But I'm gonna enter the Universal Studios store to see if they brought in any new Horror Nights merch for these announcements. Okay, here we are, Universal Studios store. Not seeing anything new quite yet. No new display. Doesn't look like they've brought in any merch yet, but we'll come back to it and see if they set it up later. I mean, it was just announced like 30 minutes ago, so okay, we'll come back. Something similar happened 2 years ago when they announced the Weeknd. We had no Weeknd merchandise, no haunted house merchandise until about halfway through September. And also when they sold out of sweaters, they didn't restock it at all until like the very last weekend of Horror Nights. I hope this year is not the case. I hope they bring really great merchandise for the Weeknd. I mean, the Weeknd is clearly the largest property Horror Nights has. It's gonna bring in a lot of people. So let's talk about the Weeknd Nightmare Trilogy. So it's not themed after the album Trilogy. That's what I thought originally, but it's the trilogy of After Hours, Dawn FM, and the new album, which hasn't been announced quite yet. We're thinking that Abel's gonna release his last album as The Weeknd very soon, maybe September. And I think the speculated name for that album is Rebirth, maybe? He's teased a little bit about the album on his Instagram. He showed like a little baby doll version of him, and he kind of dies in Dawn FM, so Rebirth will be The Weeknd Reborn, and eventually he's changing his name from The Weeknd to Abel Tesfaye, his actual name. I don't think we'll have The Weeknd back after this year's Horror Nights, because he won't be The Weeknd anymore. He'll be Abel Tesfaye, and I don't think they'll run with that. I think he's taking a big shift in his music as well. So anyways, in this haunted house, we'll probably hear some new music from the newer album. You start off at After Hours, of course, then you make your way into Dawn FM, and finally Rebirth. Even during our Horror Nights announcement, they did not announce the third name of the album. They just said a new storyline. Also with Enter the Blumhouse Terror Tram, this is probably going to be a better looking Terror Tram compared to like previous years. I feel like they haven't been as attentive with the studio tour or the Terror Tram in previous years, but I think this year, since they do have a bit of a sponsor, there might be a bigger budget for the Terror Tram this year. Already hasn't talked a whole lot about the Terror Tram this year. What we do know is it has Freaky, it has Purge, Megan, Happy Death Day. This is all new information. Sorry, I just like learned all of this. And what we also know is Jupiter's Claim will not be a part of the Terror Tram unless you purchase the RIP tour ticket. And inside of Jupiter's Claim, you'll have many different photo ops, some tethered, but not all. And that's basically all we know for now. I'll keep you guys updated. Murdy is tweeting as we speak, so any new information will be learned together. And I apologize in advance for any confusion. I just I mean, we just had this announcement and I was driving to Universal while the announcement happened. So I caught like the two announcement videos. I skimmed through Twitter, I skimmed through the Horror Nights website to learn a little bit about these haunted houses and what's coming to each separate property. So at times when I'm filming, I have to put the camera down for a second, go back, make sure I'm saying the right thing, and then continue talking. Very excited though to see the updates on the Terror Tram today. We went on yesterday and we saw quite a few updates. I'm sure they got a lot of work done since yesterday. And I'm sure now that they've announced it to be entered the Blumhouse as the theme of the Terror Tram, I'm like 90% sure they can start assembling that Blumhouse house facade. And I'm assuming that's what we were seeing be placed into, I guess, the Bates Motel area a few days ago. They removed that facade from public view a few days ago, but maybe we'll see it today. I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely been a while since I've done the tram this early. The last time was probably like 2019 when they were still building haunted houses in the Metropolitan sets. I mean, since then I haven't really seen a need to get on the tram this early in the morning. But today, I mean, it felt appropriate. We had two big announcements, one being the Terror Tram, so obviously I gotta sit in the tram. And a second, the Weeknd, which the tram passes right by. By the way, the Weeknd Trilogy will be located in stage 15, where Stranger Things was located previously, along with the Weeknd After Hours Nightmare. Here you guys go. Coaster updates. We'll take a look after the tram. I'm not sure if we have a lot of updates for the coaster though. You guys also have to take into an account that we were here literally like less than 15 hours ago.
Studio tour expanded to include fantastic behind Hollywood elements like the Burning House and the Rock Slide, which were in this area of the lots in the 70s and 80s. Well, today you are on the newest version of the tour vehicle. This is our electric tram as we continue our commitment to a zero-emission studio tour fleet. Electric trams get their power from wireless inductive charging pads, just like the ones used for cell phone, only much larger. And like an electric car, we have regenerative braking every time we go down a hill. Right now, we're actually building a charge. Well, we are about to take you onto the front lot of our studio, just ahead. Now, the front lot is where we have most of our sound stages. And the sound stages are where they film some of the interior scenes to a lot of your favorite TV shows.
There's one big coaster.
36 sound stages.
Here's stage 12. This is where Universal Monsters will be located. It's really, really difficult to get a shot into this building. Got a pretty quick glimpse into the Weeknd house. They're very active on building soundproofing walls right now. Here's a look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, it looks like they removed the speaker. Oh no, it's still there. Never mind. Oh!
That's what the New York City World's Fair, we had our first live televised transmission. And since then, Universal Television has given you countless television series, leading us all.
Looks like they're adding those finishing touches of details on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It looks great.
It's a great example of what we call a practical set. You can shoot both interior and exterior shots, as opposed to the facade structure back of the Chicken Ranch, which, as you can see, is just the front inside of the building. Now, this next neighborhood we're going to take you into is called Colonial Street. It's a mixture of facades and practical sets. Colonial Street is where
It's definitely been a long time since the last time we've driven past Colonial.
Welcome to the spectacular plane crash set site for War of the Worlds.
Never seen anything like that.
These sets were created by Oscar-winning production designer Rick Carter, collaborating with Steve.
Oh wow.
On quite a few of his
I'm assuming this will be another RIP experience like last year.
Large-scale sets like this have been a staple of the studio tour for several decades before production destroyed this suburban.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the entire Terror Tram turned into an upcharge RIP tour attraction.
You always make sure to make room electric trams in production to wrap. So we can
Those pickets are still left unthemed.
That doesn't get any more iconic than this house over here to your right. This house was featured in Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller Psycho, starring Anthony Perkins and Janet Leigh. It's just the shell of a house. If you're to walk through that front door,
still no theming here.
Sets. Just mother up in her bedroom window on the second floor, rocking chair. Oh, Mrs. Bates.
Lots of cable management going on in here. Probably going to set up some lighting and stuff soon. We're seeing some plywood here as well.
Well, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary here at the studio tour. The Hollywood sign, the real one.
I wonder where that main Blumhouse facade is located as we speak.
We're going to want to get a picture with our Hollywood sign when you...
It's definitely not on site yet.
The lots. Your time has come, everybody. You will be disembarking the tram for some fun. Get some pictures.
I don't think we're going to be seeing any Terror Tram updates in this section until they're done with the 60th anniversary.
History, we have been very fortunate to work with generation-defining directors and bring it to life.
This is Jupiter's Planet, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke. Over there, look into the... That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Black. A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to show you an unbelievable live show. Anyway,
that's good, right? Get out. Get in. All right, we're going to take you to a part of the back lot where we once had an attraction called the Doomed Glacier Expedition, better known as the...
Unfortunately, Fast and Furious is working today. I was just watching The Simpsons last night, and that episode I watched was heavily dedicated to Krusty, and I totally forgot that Krusty isn't here anymore. I feel like he appears seasonally now, so sometimes through the spring, sometimes through the summer, but right now they don't have Krusty out at all. But instead, through this summer, they have Marge, they have Homer, Bart, and Lisa. They make appearances throughout the day, right outside of the Quickie Mart. It's pretty funny, we're doing our update backwards today. But over here in the Parisian area, they removed a lot of seating because they're getting ready to set up those boxed scare zones. They're gonna set up a bunch of posters, a bunch of decorations for the Luchadores Monstros scare zone. It'll be located in this area. You can see they're already starting to run some electrical down from the top. No lighting rigs or anything like that set up quite yet, but we'll probably see those go vertical overnight. And I'm assuming, since we already have like tables and chairs moved to the opposite side now, probably start seeing decorations pop up either tomorrow or the following day. It didn't seem like we had any changes with the coaster since yesterday. A lot of activity going on today. A lot of it centered around whatever is going on in that structure. Outside of that, I think we'll see some new track pieces later on this week or next week. It looks like they are working on those supports now. This looks like this is new, but it's been here. I was a little thrown off since yesterday. I had to go back to my phone to check the video, but that's been here since yesterday. But it is a little early in the morning, so I'm not expecting a whole lot of work to be done at this time. We're gonna definitely come back tomorrow and check out some more coaster updates, but today's focus was heavily on Horror Nights just because of our recent announcements. I'm like 90% sure they're done with Monstros already. I see the lighting, I see gels in those Source 4s, I see speakers up. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt if they're already doing lighting and audio testing. You know what I just noticed? We didn't start today's video in the plaza. I try to make it a point to start every video in the plaza, but I was so distracted with all of the announcements we got today that I just skipped right over the plaza. Anyways, we do have one little detail update at Monstros Do, and that's this freshly buried body. There's a body underneath the dirt here. I think they used this last year. Oh, and we actually have another detail over here. Look at that. This grave is complete. And there's actually no empty tombstone now. I don't think Muerte is going to be in front of the entrance this year. It doesn't seem like there's any room for him to walk around unless he's in this tiny contained spots, but I don't think they'll do that to the scare actor. I think that I also feel like that's a pretty boring position for an individual or a scare actor. You're sitting there, you can't really scare people, it's kind of a boring spot. I was very curious about that spotlight up here inside of the entrance. It's pointed towards guests. They don't typically do that. So we'll see what they end up doing with that. I'm 90% sure that's not permanent. No new lighting has been installed since yesterday. They still have those mini spots around this tree and basically around the area. None of them are plugged in yet, so they haven't done electrical. But they're basically done. Looks like they're almost ready for this haunted house to open. There's a ladder inside of this little pop-up. These still haven't been positioned, so yeah, they still haven't really worked on lighting on the facade. We'll see some more work on it by the end of the week, I'm sure. It's looking great. I'm very excited for Monstros this year. I'm gonna go ahead and walk to the gift shop and see if they have any new Horror Nights merchandise. Didn't have it earlier if you skipped through the video, but we'll go ahead and take a look. Also, apologies on the lack of energy in today's video. I slept at like 2 last night, something like that, editing another video. And I woke up at like 8:30 because I heard we're getting an announcement today. Murdy tweeted out a little something last night. So I set my alarm to wake up at 7:30 and make it here on time, and I completely forgot my morning cup of Joe. So tomorrow's video, if we have tomorrow's video, will be a little more energized. Yeah, no new Horror Nights merchandise, but you guys pointed this out on Instagram, I think. They changed the price of the popcorn bucket to be $19.64. And 1964 is the opening year of Universal Studios. Anyways, this is where I'm ending off our time together. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, I am exhausted. I'm probably gonna go right to bed as soon as I get home. I'm gonna edit this and then post it and then go to bed. But I'm JP and How They Sing the Movies. That's a wrap. I'll see you guys in the next one.